Hello, and thank you guys for tuning in to another one of my videos. My name is Yadrissa, and if you're not already subscribed, make sure you subscribe to my channel. Make sure you also like and comment and press the notification bell so you're notified every time I upload a video weekly. So what I'm going to be showing you is that I'm using the Mehron Sin Wax to create this Whoville nose, this Grinch Whoville nose. So what I did show in the previous clip is I'm using these metal spatulas, and I bought these spatulas from Amazon, and I'm using that with the wax in order to help me mold and blend it in certain areas to help it stick to my face. I did go in and use the spatulas in certain areas, but I didn't use the spatulas too much in this video because the wax kept on sticking to the spatulas and it was hard to mold the wax because the spatulas kept sticking to it. So I did use my fingers mostly throughout the video to shape and mold and to create my shape for this Grinch nose, but as you can see in this clip, I am using it and trying to use it. And also in a previous clip, there was this small white container that I did show, and that was Vaseline that I had inside of there. I did dip my fingers inside of the Vaseline as I'm molding my Grinch nose because the wax does stick to your fingers, so it is good to try to use some type of oil-based products or some type of pomade so that it doesn't stick to your fingers as you're trying to mold it onto your skin. So I did prep and prime my face before. I just started on a freshly washed face, and I did wipe around my nose only with alcohol just so that this Sin Wax can stick to my nose even better, because I didn't want to put any lotion on my nose because I felt like it would make me sweat underneath this Grinch nose, and it will be harder for me to try to blend it into my skin because it will be sliding off of whatever product I have already on my skin. So I try not to put anything at all on the area where I am applying this prosthetic Grinch nose. So as you can see, I started off with my Mehron wax and I used that spatula. You have to make sure you use something that's hard and won't break, because the wax is very hard in the container. But once you get once you break off a piece of that wax and you start to mold it in your hands, I like to roll it in my hands and then squeeze it with my fingertips to make it the size that I need and then apply it to my face. You don't want to use anything that's plastic because it bends easy because the wax again is so hard. So I'm just doing layers by layers. I didn't want to do a big piece of wax and then try to spread it and mold it. So I'm actually just adding piece by piece to my nose to try to create that Grinch nose effect. So obviously I'm just building on top of my regular nose, and I'm trying to widen my nose using this wax, and I'm also trying to cover my nose completely without my nose showing and without the top lip of mine showing as well. So what I'm trying to do is I put the wax on my face in my nose area. So I put it on and then I was trying to blend it. After I applied each piece of wax, I was trying to just keep it blended. So the ends, like the outsides of the wax, I was using my fingertips to make the outside lines, like the ends of the wax. I was trying to make that as thin as possible so that it would stick very well to my face, because you can't apply a big bulky piece to the edge because it will always lift up from the skin. So I was trying to smooth it out as flat as possible after I applied each piece of wax to my nose. So, this video is very repetitive. It's just me adding additional pieces to the wax. I was just seeing how it would look as I'm going so far, and if I needed to build more up on my nose bridge. So that's why I had made that circle there and put it on top of my nose to see if I needed to make my nose a little bit higher or if it was good at the height that I made it. And as always, when I'm creating any type of look, I like to have a picture in front of me of the look that I'm going for, just so I can refer back to the reference photo to see how I can mimic that photo as much as possible, to do it how I think it would be made on a prosthetic. So as you can see, I'm looking over at my photo as I'm going along. I was trying to, for the tip of my nose, I was trying to make that piece just build up on that piece right there where your nostrils are, and the whole nose on top of the lip, and also the lip. I was trying to cover that part completely. So that part, you really have to really do multiple layers of this wax as you're smoothing out the edges as well. And you can see I took one of my spatulas, and I was trying to make a hole in the wax where my nostrils are so I can breathe. Because as you can imagine, you're covering your nostrils with the wax and you cannot breathe. So I was just trying to create a space there so that I can still breathe while I'm creating this look. But when I was trying to create a hole with that with the tool, the wax just stuck to the tool and it would not allow me to penetrate it without ripping the wax going in, and as I pulled it out, it just messed it up. So I decided to just breathe through my mouth throughout this whole look, because again, you cannot breathe through your nose at all. I didn't want to try to make a big hole, just something slight where I can breathe through, but again, that didn't work. Maybe I can try something else a different time, but that didn't work for me at all. So I'm just breathing through my mouth throughout this look while I'm trying to build this nose up. And as you can see, like I said earlier, the spatula, it was really sticking to it. I was thinking at the end maybe I should have added some of that Vaseline to the spatula that I was using to try to help me mold it. If I would have added some Vaseline on it, I think that it would help it move and mold smoother without sticking to the product. So this is the size of the circle that I wanted to apply to the top of my Grinch prosthetic nose. And I'm just looking at it from different angles to see if this is what I want, if this is a good size for the size nose that I created. And also you want it to look kind of realistic to blend in with your face as well. So I didn't want to do anything any bigger than what I have already. So I was just trying to smooth that circle out that I applied, like the tip of the nose. I was trying to smooth it out to blend in with the wax that's already on my nose. So I was just trying to smooth out the bottom and the edges so that it can blend well with the nose that I created. As you can see, when I'm sometimes pressing it in my skin, it still gets stuck to my finger and it's just ripping the wax. So I did go in with another piece and I applied that over the nose part where it was ripping as I was trying to mold. And I'm just looking at it from different angles and still blending and trying to mold it to make it lay as flat as possible. And I was also trying to make it smooth as possible too. I didn't want it to be too bumpy before I applied my makeup, but I just did the best that I can as I was trying to smooth it out and get it as smooth as possible so that it blends well into my skin. So this is the sealant that I'm using for the wax, and I'm putting this all over the Grinch nose that I created, and this is going to keep everything into place. This is going to seal everything into place. So I'm applying that with the brush, and then I am just rubbing it and dabbing it all over the nose with my fingertips. I'm going to be taking this setting powder, and this is the Maybelline Fit Me setting powder in the light shade, and I'm just going to be setting the nose. So being that this is wax, I'm using powder to keep this into place, and I don't want the paint to stick to it after I finished with the nose. I didn't want the paint to stick to the nose because it's wax, so that's why I applied the powder on my nose so that it's matte and it has a smooth canvas, and it's also you know, it's powdered so it won't move around. This is the finished product of the nose that I have created after I've done everything. And let me know if you guys learned anything. As you can see, I can't breathe. This is the final product look of the Grinch look. I do have a full video on this makeup here. Stay tuned and keep on watching my other videos.